Hello boys and girls, Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is called the Beautiful Friendship. And as always is the featured cocktail in today's episode. First we're going to start with our shaker. To that we're going to add mint leaves. 5 or so. Then we're going to add 1/4 ounce simple syrup. Then, of course, we're going to muddle our mint leaves and our simple syrup. Next, we're going to add black rum, 1 1/2 ounces, Cointreau, 3/4 of an ounce, fresh lime juice from the plastic lime, half an ounce, and then tamarind concentrate, which is apparently something special from some tamarind plant or some plant, I don't know. But you can substitute by combining equal parts lime juice, like Rose's lime juice, and brown sugar, which I've done here. So we're going to add 1 bar spoon of that, as well as cinnamon, a pinch of cinnamon. Then we're going to fill our shaker with ice. And shake vigorously. Next, we're going to strain the mixture into a tall Collins glass over ice. Then we top with club soda. Stir gently to combine. And then we garnish with a fresh sprig of mint. There you have it, boys and girls, the beautiful friendship. Not bad. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. See ya.
Why is it always the scientist that puts the world in peril? This week on the Scary Spirits podcast in 1972's Horror Express, it's Sir Christopher Lee's anthropologist who endangers the human race with his discovery of an ancient entity. This creature, I must admit, has a unique way of spreading terror. It kills people and absorbs all their memory and knowledge, acquiring the skills of its victims along the way. Sure, the monk immediately labels it as Satan, but maybe it's just trying to find its way home and mass murdering to try to figure out how to get there. Can we really blame it for that? And cheers to Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee's birthdays, and to their beautiful friendship that brings this film to life.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing good. How are you, Greg?
I'm fantastic, Karen.
Ooh. Do you want to share with the class or keep it to yourself?
No, I'm just going to keep it to myself. Well, we're coming off a 3-day weekend.
Well, that's always fun.
That is something.
It's a little wet in the forecast, but hey, what's a little rain?
We need the rain. We need the rain, Karen. We'll be asking for this rain in a few short weeks. Karen, was this film your choice?
Surprisingly, yes.
Tell us, what film have you chosen for us this week, Karen?
I have chosen the film Horror Express from 1972.
Any reason you chose that particular film, Karen?
Oh my God, Greg, so many reasons. Well, two.
Oh, do tell.
2 reasons. When this podcast comes out, if you're listening in order, it will be Christopher Lee's birthday. Sir Christopher Lee's birthday. And just the day before that is Peter Cushing's birthday. I wonder if they celebrated together.
I'm sure they did, Karen. You know why?
Because they had a beautiful friendship?
Yes, because they had a beautiful friendship.
They did. But they both star in this week's movie.
Okay. All we're missing is Vincent Price, and we'd have the trifecta.
I know.
The last week in June trifecta.
It's packed heavy.
Do we have a cocktail to enjoy while we discuss this film, Karen?
Well, interestingly enough, Greg, we have a cocktail called Beautiful Friendship.
Wow, look at that.
You got a little foreshadowing there. That was well played.
I'm a giver.
You're going to need 1 pinch of cinnamon, 0.75 ounces of Cointreau, 0.5 ounce of fresh lime juice, 5 leaves fresh mint, 1.5 ounces of black barrel rum, 0.25 ounces of simple syrup, 2 ounces of soda, and 1 bar spoon of tamarind concentrate, which is just more mint and simple syrup if you don't have that. You can look it up. It's an easy
I'm just going to ask, where did you find your tamarind concentrate,
Oh, is
Karen.
that tamarind? Is that how
I
you
don't
say it?
know.
I just used
I don't
extra
have it in front
simple
of me.
syrup and mint.
Alternative I saw said to use equal parts brown sugar and lime juice. Well, I think you mentioned it last week.
Yeah. So if you look it up, there are multiple things you can do if you didn't have it.
It's just a little sweet and sour kind of thing, or no more sweet, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you're going to add the mint leaves and simple syrup to the bottom of the shaker and do our favorite thing. Although this time we only get to gently muddle.
I was going to ask, do we fiercely muddle or gently muddle?
We gently muddle to release the mint oils. Add the rum, contrail, lime juice, whatever you're using as your concentrate, and a pinch of cinnamon. Fill the shaker with ice and shake vigorously. Strain the mixture over fresh ice into a tall Collins glass. Top with club soda, gently stir to combine, and garnish with a sprig of fresh mint.
Mm-hmm.
I grow that shit, so I have plenty of it.
Why am I just now finding this out, Karen?
Greg,
How many years have we been doing this podcast?
and you wouldn't
You're a
think
gardener. You grow herbs or
I grow
herbs.
I grow certain
people say.
herbs, Greg.
Oh,
Not the kind you're thinking of right
interesting.
now.
Well, it's legal in Ohio. You
Just
do
kitchen,
you.
just kitchen herbs to make my cooking more
You're allowed
exciting.
to have, I think, I don't know, 2 plants or something. I don't know. Anyway, you could grow it and you'd be fine.
Yes, but I just grow kitchen herbs for cooking.
All right. Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own beautiful friendship, Karen?
It takes years, but yeah, go ahead. Make your own beautiful friendship.
It is rather complicated.
It is.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Funny how the cocktail and the actual beautiful friendship is hard and takes a long time to make.
It is. It's all very apropos.
Strange how it all works out.
Beautiful friendships don't happen overnight, Greg. It's not like friendship at first sight.
This took me like 5 minutes. Jesus Christ. This was a pain in the ass, Karen.
Just like me. That's why our friendship is beautiful. See how it all works out like that.
Of course, I'm rushing. Got to make my tamarind concentrate. Got to pull that shit out of my ass somehow.
This is all someone who did not read the assignment in advance. That's all I'm going to say. You pulled it out and you went, oh, shit.
No, I knew it was coming. I went to saw a movie in an actual theater today, Karen.
Oh, my God.
Karen, might you have a brief synopsis for us of this film from 1972, starring Sir Christopher Lee and should be Sir Peter Cushing? Do you, Karen?
I do.
Go on, tell us all the story.
Alexander Saxton, a brilliant British anthropologist researching in the Russian Far East, boards the Trans-Siberian Express with his latest discovery, a frozen specimen he hopes to prove is the missing link. But en route to Europe, passengers begin to... What did I say?
You said it right. En route.
But en route to Europe, passengers begin to turn up dead, and terror engulfs the train as Saxton and his partner, Dr. Wells, struggle to contain a mysterious and increasingly murderous force with the power to control minds.
Thank you, Karen. We are a match.
It's a little rambling. I thought they were in China. But I guess...
started in China.
Yeah, but it says here, the Russian Far East. I guess that's...
Yeah. Then they got on the train. It was going to Siberia, and China and Russia, border each other, and China's to Russia's east.
Yeah, you know me and my geography, so it's fine. I believe you.
All right. Tell us, Karen, everything you really enjoyed or were pleasantly surprised by in this film.
I like the story. I thought it was a pretty cool story. It has endless possibilities for sequels. It's an interesting concept. I like things like this where they can transfer hosts because that makes it so hard to figure out how to stop it. It's it's a cool concept. I think the special effects were pretty darn good for the time. I liked what they did with the eyes, and I think they worked with what they had and made it creepy. I liked it. I liked the set a lot. Definitely looked like a train, and it was interesting to see how the other half lives when they train travel versus the peasants, as they called them later in the movie. You can see that there is a definite line between first class and economy, shall we say. Acting was good. I liked it. What about you? What did you like?
First thing I wrote down was effects not bad. And I was already thinking of other things as well. And the next thing I wrote down is I think this film's ahead of its time. I'm shocked that this has not been remade.
True. It should have been remade.
Like I had no idea what the thing was actually going to be, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story, just like you said. I thought this was a good story. I really liked it.
Very creative.
It tries to be I don't know if this is good or bad, but I wrote it's artsy, kind of, or at least it tries to be. And then I wrote, it's got all the Hammer stuff, Karen, but it's not a Hammer film.
It does. It's very Hammer-like.
I did
Costumes are
not
good.
care. I will say I did not care for some of the acting, but for the most part, it was good.
So overall, you'd say you liked it.
I did.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I think that sometimes gets us because we go in thinking it's not going to be that good, and if it's better than we expect, we're all like, "Oh my God, this was
the pictures
really
you
good."
see of it, or pictures from it, or whatever, the artwork, blah blah blah. Even the synopsis really doesn't give it justice. So
There's very creative things in it, like transferring hosts is creative. At one point, they're doing some research and they're looking at an eyeball, and they can see everything that the last thing that the eye saw. That's creative.
through the eye fluid, Karen.
Yes.
On a
I mean,
slide.
it's a little crazy, but it's creative.
Yeah, it could have been done better, but
Well,
yeah.
it was 1972. So you're right. If it was remade today,
I mean, we could have like more realistic images than a picture from an encyclopedia.
It's true.
If
It's true.
I actually saw whatever we are seeing, and we're supposed
But
to
have you
believe
ever
that.
seen anything like I'd never seen anything like that before.
No, I haven't.
So I thought that was
And they didn't even have to be accurate. Who the hell knows what the thing saw? So it's like they were afraid they needed to be accurate in their depictions of things in the eye fluid.
I just thought there were creative things in it.
They were, and I'm bitching too much for doing things we liked.
Well, you can bring that up in a minute. I just thought
It's already out there, Karen. It's already out there.
whoever came up with the concept of the movie and the little details like that, I thought was really good. If you want to, thrown in some outer space stuff, thrown in some evolution, thrown in,
It's got all the stuff, Karen.
I think I like it because there's some science in there.
All the 70s stuff. I will
Yes.
say.
Well, except there weren't any boobs, so
No,
there were
No,
pretty
there weren't.
women in it, but
there were. I wasn't that mad, Karen. All right. Is there anything you were very disappointed in or did not care for, Karen?
well, this may be controversial, Greg, but I don't think Peter Cushing needed to be in this. His whole character, I don't get what his role was, really.
He almost wasn't.
I mean, it's nice that I always like Peter Cushing. His acting is good. It's not that he played the role well. I'm not saying that, but there was no reason for him to be in this.
I feel like this was a gift from a beautiful friend, Karen.
Oh, also Telly Savalas is in it, and I didn't care for his character either. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I mean, that role didn't need to be in it either. That felt like so out of place to me. But maybe I didn't understand the conflict of the time because they're like, is it war? I'm not a big history buff either.
It's a Cold War.
But I don't know if in 190 whatever.
Oh, yes, I guess it is. Yeah.
It's 1906. Were there skirmishes or something? Because
That's right before the First World War.
but it just seemed like he was over the top. I didn't
Or
care
at
for
least
him.
before America got into it.
He wasn't my cup of tea. But they needed the soldiers to come on so they could have more fighting. And back to something else I liked where whatever this entity was, at some point could bring people back from the dead too and have them fight. I mean, there are a lot of, I hate to repeat myself so many times, but there are a lot of creativity, a lot of creative things going
But,
on.
zombie films have been out by this time. So,
Yes, but I'm saying what this entity can do. They did they're throwing that in, sure, but it still was kind of a cool concept. Anyway, that's all I have that I didn't like. Peter Cushing was like the woman in a lot of these films. We're like, why is she even in there? Like, she doesn't do anything. He doesn't really do anything.
he's a doctor. Who's going to perform the autopsies, Karen?
I guess, but
I mean, Professor Sir Alexander Sexton probably thinks that he can, and he probably can because he's Professor Sir Alexander Sexton. But Dr. Wells is the doctor.
but
When someone is ill, they're going to come to Dr. Wells.
he's a passenger on the train. The train probably has a doctor. I'm just saying
Well,
he
I
felt
mean, the inspector comes to him, and the first
it,
thing Peter Cushing asks is someone sick?
that's
Something to that effect.
I didn't see it. He should have been the benefactor, somebody who paid for the anthropologist to do the research, and then he's allowed to be interacting with all of it. He's just some rando that gets on the train and then becomes important. It just didn't play for me.
I can
He's
see that.
fine. I don't have any problem with the acting or anything. I just think it felt very let's get Peter Cushing in here somewhere. Oh, okay. Well, let's write this role. They could have made it a little bit more intertwined.
So he originally declined to do it
Oh,
because,
really?
well, his wife had died within the year prior to this film, and apparently I read he mourned her his entire life. So he thought it was too soon, but his buddy convinced him, and even kept slept in the same bed with him apparently to help him.
Wow. That's a beautiful friendship. I'll have to do that for your gift when you leave her.
You mean when I die first, Karen? Is that what you're saying?
Subtly, but yes.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for trying to be subtle.
Is there anything else you have? Do you have things that you don't like
Oh, do I have anything, Karen?
besides the eyeball thing?
Yes, besides the eyeball thing. Well, I said it has all the hammer stuff, including the bad blood, I'm going to say. But the effects overall were pretty good. I totally agree. I don't know why Telly Savalas is in this film or why his character is in this film.
It felt like something was cut out that we didn't see. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it kind of does show us that Sexton succeeds in getting the train stopped at the next station. But other than that, it's nothing. Because the inspector's men could have turned on him and we could have had a lot more fighting just as well as these soldiers getting on.
True.
So
It's also a little slow, I think.
maybe one too many montage
There's a couple
of
mon
the
there's
train and what's going on inside the train and the train speeding through the winter wonderland and
and they
what's going on
started
inside the train.
there was a certain whistle that started like
Yeah.
a with the what beast, what we want, I don't know. And
No,
then
the baggage guy is whistling it.
oh, I thought
But
the
then
way
the
he
beast
was
begins, the creature, I call it the creature the whole
creature,
time,
that's
'cause I
better.
don't know what it is for most of the movie. The creature mimics it, and
I
it
thought
happens
that
to be the same thing that the Countess is playing on the piano.
I just thought that was kind of neat too, like almost like Jaws where the music plays and you know it's coming. For a while that whistle was working with
For
the
a while it
creature
was.
and then it just stops. But I thought that's a creepy whistle. You could hear it and then be like, "Oh shit, the creature's coming," that kind of
Yeah, I
thing.
think they probably are afraid of overdoing it.
Well, and there's another character that I thought was kind of extra, not needed, was the international spy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about.
I mean, It does show that you only have to be a good-looking woman and say,
I think it's
"Oh,
just trying to be like or Murder on the
the
Orient
Orient
Express of
Express."
something.
But she's like,
So
"Oh, I don't have a
they were trying to
ticket."
have a cast of, you know,
Oh,
characters,
possible,
different
but
characters to, ooh, let's see how they interact and mingle. But
it's just to be a pretty woman and you just get on the train and you're like, "Oh, I don't have a ticket. Will you help me?"
no, she
Sure.
doesn't ever even really seduce anyone. She I mean she kind of does, but
Well, she's just,
he
we're
was
all
an
getting,
easy mark, apparently.
yes. He let her right in to his cabin and was very disappointed. Peter Cushing lets her in and is very disappointed when Christopher Lee shows up. It's funny. But
Yeah, I
she's an
kind of
extra
forgot that they
student,
were all in the same
but she
cabin.
doesn't need to be there. And there's a lot of extra stuff that I don't, it's not like you're confused. You know, it's the creature. It's like they're trying to throw things at us to throw us off, but we all know it's the creature. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was trying to add intrigue or something. But I mean, the Countess at least brings the monk with her. So that's a
Mhm.
reason for her to be there. But I don't know. Lots of extra people, I thought. But wonderful sequel potentials.
Actually, apparently the first film adaptation of Murder on the Orient Express came out in 1974. So after this film.
Oh, well, the book is available though.
Sure, yes, yes. Yeah, it's a work from 1934 by Agatha Christie. All right, anything else you did not care for, Karen, you would like to share with the class?
No, I think I'm good. How about you?
I am as well, I think. But we'll see what happens when we start going into it scene by scene, Karen.
True.
But before that, Karen, would you like to hear a review from the time?
I would love to.
And this isn't actually from the time, it's from like a DVD or Blu-ray release or whatever. Because I could not find one from the time. But this is the oldest one I think I could find. It wasn't terrible. But first, Karen, I have to tell you, this has an 80% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Do you have any idea what our Google users might have thought?
I'm going to go high. I'm going to say 89%.
Well, your guess is as good as mine, Karen, because I could find no information.
Oh,
So
ding,
I
ding, ding,
have
ding,
no
ding, ding.
idea.
I'm
Yeah,
going to give it to me.
yeah, I'm going to give it to you.
Why not?
Why not? At least you gave an answer. All
With confidence.
right, the review I have is from March 30th of 2012 by a writer named Dennis Schwartz, who I've
Okay.
used before. A fun, loose reworking of Christian Niebuhr's The Thing from Another World from 1951. Spanish director Eugenio Martin works around the cheesy special effects and campy atmosphere to keep it briskly moving along. Really?
I don't agree with any of that.
Well, I agree it's
You
a
think
take
it's,
on The Thing from Another World.
yeah, but I don't think it's campy or terrible special effects.
It helps to have Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing along for the ride as rival anthropologists. It's written by Arnaud Doucet, Julian Halavy, and Eugenia Martin, and is based on Martin's story. In 1906, pompous English anthropologist Professor Sir Alexander Saxton has discovered a frozen monster half man and half ape in Manchuria, which he believes may be the missing link. At Shanghai, Saxton boards the Trans-Siberian Railway to head home to London with his valuable 2 million-old fossil locked up in chains and covered with a canvas and a crate. Also aboard are English anthropologist slash physician Dr. Wells and his assistant Miss Jones, with Wells his colleague. At the station, a thief is struck dead trying to rob the crate and his eyes turned white. After the crate is loaded in the baggage car, the curious Wells bribes the baggage man to drill a hole in the crate to see what the fossil looks like. But the monster thaws out, and when his eyes turn red in the dark, he kills the baggage man by intently staring at him and escapes on the train. The dead man's eyes also turn white as we further learn the monster drains his brain and absorbs all his knowledge. The train journey will have
Another
many.
cool thing. Like it'd be like just drain everybody's knowledge.
The train journey will have many more victims. The results in a power-hungry Cossack Captain Kazan boarding the train with his soldiers to investigate the murders and bullying everyone aboard, especially the weird acting Russian police inspector Murov and the even weirder acting crazed monk Father Pajardov. I don't know. I just call him the preacher the whole time. Doing some kind of Rasputin imitation. And he does. And I was trying to think of what he looks like, and it is Rasputin, another Christopher
Absolutely.
Lee film, I believe. Karen. Rasputin, the Mad Monk. The priest's favorite line is, "Where there is evil, there is no place for the cross." I'm not sure it's his favorite, but anyway, he says it once. Also aboard are international spy Natasha and the wealthy Count and Countess Petrovsky. Since the monster was killed by the police inspector, the gruff Cossack hunts down the party who became possessed by the alien creature and is carrying on the murder spree. It's indeed a low budget B horror film sci fi, but looks smart despite the narrative being so ridiculous, Karen.
See, I didn't think it was ridiculous. I think it's creative.
Credit for class trumping kitsch must be attributed to Lee and Cushing, who perform better than the script. Yeah, see, so that's what I mean. I read things like this, I see the pictures I did, and I wasn't expecting much. But I don't think Dennis Schwartz gave it justice. But he did give it a B, Karen. A B. Not bad, not bad. Above
No, that's
average, I would say. Above average, he's saying.
I would say it's a B. I agree with that, but I don't agree with most of what he said. I mean, I think the other thing is when you look back at these movies, it's hard. We've seen a lot of these movies in this time, so we can say it's better than a lot of the other ones. But when you look back from when was that, 2012? Of course, it's going to seem a little kitsch and stuff because it's a 1970s movie, but that's how they were.
It seems 1970s to me. So
I don't think that he's judging it fairly.
I would agree for the most part, Karen. All right. What kind of cocktail rating do you want to give this film, Karen?
Well, as much as I'm going on and on, it's a solid 3, I think. It's not it's not a great movie, but it's a
No,
good
it's not a two, but it's a 3. It's a
it's
solid 3.
it's a good movie for its time. It's much more entertaining than you would think it would be, I think. And I think it was I don't know. I find it original for some reason. Maybe it's not, but to me it
Yeah, if you
was.
like 70s hammer horror stuff, you'll like this.
But it's better than a lot of
It
that.
is. It is better than a lot of it.
I mean, Christopher Lee, who utters 3 lines as Dracula, this is better than that. You know, it is. It just there's much more.
But in this, you get lots of lines and eye acting, Karen.
Yes, you get it all. There's
And
much
again,
more of a
and again,
story.
he just imposes over everybody.
Well, I know you can see it at a certain point. I even mention it. He's standing next to a
He
couple
stands
of
out
men.
in the
He's
crowd.
head and shoulders above them. They're normal sized people, I think. And he's just, we've talked about it before. He's very tall.
I even think Telly Savalas was afraid of him for a minute.
He was much taller than Telly Savalas because Telly Savalas and Peter Cushing were eye to eye, and Christopher Lee is a head and shoulders above them. It was funny. They didn't even put him on boxes. They're like, you're on your own.
All right, 3 cocktails. That means it only took us 3 cocktails. It took me a little more than 1 beer, Karen. A little more, not much. It's a little long. All right, are you ready to get into it scene by scene?
Not until you tell me what you're gonna pick for
Oh,
next week's movie.
is it my turn already, Karen?
It is. You want to tell everyone what you've chosen for next week?
Well, in just a few short days after the next episode comes out, and even from today, not that long, it will be June 6th in a year that also ends in a 6, Karen.
No. 666. That's nice. Well, 6626.
Well, no, 666, Karen. And you know what that means.
There's going to be some omen thing.
Our next film, Karen, is from 2006.
That makes more sense. Okay.
And it was also released June 6th, 2006.
As it should have been, I'm sure, right?
Yes. The film is called The Omen,
What? A different The Omen?
the remake of The Omen.
Oh, okay.
I think the first one came out in 76. I think they tried to line them up with that 666 shit, Karen.
Well, how could
Just
you
saying.
not do it in 6606? You have to,
I know.
right? I mean,
That's a, that's, as the cowboy says, right down Broadway. And Reds fans will understand.
okay, do you have a drink to go along with this
I do, Karen.
devil worshipping film? What do we got?
You're going to like this.
Oh, no. I don't like your tone.
The cocktail is called The Mark of the Beast,
Oh,
a sinister layered cocktail that looks as foreboding as it tastes. Dark, complex, and just a little unsettling.
God, we're going from a beautiful friendship to the mark of the beast. Okay.
As you do, Karen.
We are a roller coaster around here.
All right, so we're going to need 1.5 ounces black vodka or regular vodka with a drop of black food coloring. But we have activated charcoal coming later as optional. So if you have that, just put that in and you're fine. 1/2 ounce pomegranate liqueur.
Oh, that I don't have.
You can make it, but you better get on it quickly. 3/4 ounce fresh blood orange juice. 1/2 ounce simple syrup. 3 dashes bitters. 1/4 ounce grenadine for the mark effect, Karen. Activated charcoal is optional for visual darkness. And if you had that, you don't need the black vodka. Black cherry for garnish and orange peel for garnish also. Charred, if possible. So
Wow.
in a shaker, we're going to combine the vodka, pomegranate liqueur, blood orange juice, simple syrup, and bitters, add ice, and shake until well chilled. Then we add a tiny piece of activated charcoal to deepen the color and shake briefly again. Then we're going to strain into a chilled coupe or lowball glass, or coupe glass, or lowball glass. Then we're going to create the mark by slowly drizzling the grenadine into the center of the drink, maybe doing a spiral. It should sink and spread like a sinister symbol forming
How do
in
you
the
see
glass.
it if it's black?
Details, Karen, details.
Sorry.
Then we're going to add the black cherry on a pick and express a lightly charred orange peel over the top before dropping it in.
And you said my beautiful friendship drink was complicated.
Here's some presentation tips, Karen.
Ooh, I do love those.
Serve in low light or candlelight for full effect.
Ooh,
A smoked glass, briefly trapping smoke inside before pouring, adds an infernal aroma.
nice.
And then it says, if you're going all in, stencil a faint 666 on the glass using powdered sugar or edible ash.
I can smoke the glass. I like to do that, but I don't know. I don't have a stencil of 666. Do you?
No, Karen.
Who would have such a thing?
So that'll be next
Someone
week.
who grows herbs in their garden? I don't know.
I don't have an herb guard, Karen.
That's unfortunate, Greg.
So that'll be next week. It's not as difficult as I made it sound.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm sure we all look forward to that.
Definitely.
I've seen it before. Have you, Karen?
No.
Yes.
Where have you seen it? In a bar?
On my DVD. No, I think
Oh, the movie. I thought you meant the
Yes.
drink. I'm so
No, the
sorry.
movie.
Yeah, I saw it in a bar. Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
I have, but I don't think I saw it. I think I got the DVD later. It was a box set that just had to have. I probably watched it on net. All right. Are you ready to get into the Horror Express scene by scene? Karen?
Let's do that.
All right.
Where'd you watch it?
I watched it on YouTube, Karen.
As did I.
Did you have any commercials or anything at all like that?
I did not.
I did not as well. But I did find it is available on Amazon, and it is included, but I tried it and the very first thing was 2 minutes of commercial. So I'm like, nope, and I stopped. But on Amazon, it's rated R for violence, frightening scenes, alcohol use, smoking, and flashing lights.
Really? Rated R? Huh. I'm a little surprised.
Hell, in England, it was probably rated X. They were still doing that.
Sure, but there just doesn't seem, I mean, well,
Film starts, Karen, and we have credits.
lots of credits.
Yeah, I wrote lots of Italian words.
Long. It's like 2.5 minutes long.
I will say the soundtrack's not great either, but whatever. So then we hear the voice of Sir Christopher Lee talking about the Royal Geological Society. I guess that's who he works for. And what he's about to say is a true and faithful account. And while this is going on, there's words to read on screen too, which I'm like, I can't do both at the same time, Karen. I was hoping you wrote down the words on the screen.
I did not.
I saw the word China. That's all I saw.
That's all China in 1906.
Okay. I did write down that he mentions Manchuria.
Yes.
He has to accept responsibility for whatever we're about to see ending in disaster, but doesn't sound like he's going to take the blame, Karen.
He says he takes responsibility, but he will leave it to the society to decide where the blame actually lies.
So then we cut to him exploring a cave led by a Chinese guide, question mark, I wrote.
Well, and it looks cold. And I said they look Russian with their fur hats and everything. So I was a little confused as to where their origins were from, but it is London, right? Is where they came from.
That's where
Yeah.
Professor Sir Alexander Saxton came from.
I called him Christopher Lee through the whole thing. So you'll have to correct me.
So, next thing I have is Professor Sir Alexander Saxton finds a figure frozen in ice. Then they carry the creature away. I'm already calling it a creature. I said it looks very cold. Creature is all chained up and locked.
Sort of, yeah.
And
in his
we're
container.
We're at the train station now, and we see a Chinese guy guarding it before it gets on the train.
Yeah, so they said it's the Trans-Siberian Railway. Is that what they...
That's what Dennis Schwartz says.
All right, well, so I did look up some facts about that. It is the longest passenger railway in the world, spanning a massive 9,289 kilometers, which is 5,772 miles across Eurasia, connecting Moscow in European Russia to Vladivostok. I'm sure I completely butchered that, on the Pacific Ocean.
I don't know.
It's a continuous, nonstop journey on the main line, takes about 7 days and crosses 8 time zones. While the traditional route runs solely
that just tells you how fucking big Russia is.
I know. Right? While the traditional route runs solely within Russia, the vast rail network splits into 3 major corridors. Okay, the Trans-Siberian line, what we said, Moscow to the Pacific Ocean, staying entirely within Russia. Trans-Mongolian line branches off and cuts through the Gobi Desert and Mongolia and terminates in Beijing. The Trans-Manchurian line branches off in Chita, Russia, and travels through northern China before ending in Beijing. So I'm not sure they're on this whatever, but if you're on the Trans-Siberian Railway, it's the longest railway in the world, which is kind of cool.
So then I wrote train station, obviously. And I wrote, apparently there is a problem with Professor Sir Alexander Sexton's accommodations on the train.
Yeah, he says, I sent a telegram. Guy's like, I didn't get it.
Dr. Wells arrives, and they know each other and are apparently on the same train. Dr. Wells seems to have a little problem as well, but he...
greases the palm.
He kind of buys his way onto the train, I wrote.
Yeah, he bribes the guy.
Hello, boys and girls. You know, doing a podcast can be thirsty work. Lucky for you, we have all our drink recipes on our website, scaryspirits.com. And if you want to see how each drink is made, hit up our YouTube channel, Scary Spirits Podcast, and watch me play bartender. I show you how to make every themed drink. Now, back to the show.
And then another Asian guy comes up and tells the guard to go across the way. He speaks Chinese, I guess. We don't understand it, but he obviously
He
motions him
distracts the
away.
guard who's watching over the padlocked
And
creature.
then he picks the lock on the chains. The original guard comes back to find the box has been opened, and the guy who distracted him is dead, and his eyes are white, and he's got blood coming from his eyes, nose, and mouth. Then Professor Sir Alexander Saxton tries to strong arm his way onto the train. He just pushes everything off the guy's desk and is about to get
Well,
physical.
he's very imposing. He's a very big man. He talks to Wells, and Wells is basically like, "Yeah, I gave him some money. That's how it works." And Saxton's like, "I'm not doing that." Just pushes everything off the desk and stares at the guy. And he goes, "Oh, look, I found your ticket."
No, well, because the army comes in and says they are there to assist him with whatever he needs. And then
Oh,
that's
that's
when the
true.
guy says, "Oh, here it is right here. I found your ticket."
All of a sudden, he remembers. You're right.
Then we see a priest. I call him a priest. Want me to call him a monk or a father or whatever?
I think they call him a monk later, but a holy man.
So we see a monk praying over the thief.
They said he looks
We,
like
we learn
Rasputin.
he's a thief.
Yeah.
They find his eyes are all white. The monk says it's the work of the devil. He tries to open the crate. Professor Sir Alexander Saxton stops him. Monk says whatever is in the box is unholy and must be destroyed. He shows Professor Sir Alexander Saxton the body.
Of the thief. Yeah.
Professor Sir Alexander Saxton says the box is full of fossils,
And rocks.
and
Yeah.
they're just stones. Monk talks about the cross and Satan, and then he talks about, I don't know, he draws a cross on the ground in chalk, and then he tries to draw a cross on the box, but it doesn't write anything.
Yeah. Where there is evil is no place for a cross. So he takes his chalk and draws on the street or whatever, where he's standing, and the cross shows up. But it doesn't show up on the white encased
It's not white
creature.
canvas. It's tan. It's beige.
Okay. But it doesn't show up on the box. So the monk is convinced that there's evil in the box.
All right, I'm going to start calling him Sir Alexander from now on.
Thank you.
Sir Alexander says it's just a trick. Military men carry the crate onto the train. Monk makes the sign of the cross. And we see Dr. Wells checking out his crates in the baggage car there. And they put Sir Alexander's box on there and stand it on its end. Sir Alexander seems to hear something coming from inside the crate, I wrote. He opens it up to examine it, and there is a small door to look into its interior. The body is still there, encased in ice, apparently.
Yeah.
Sir Alexander locks the crate back up. Train leaves the station. Dr. Wells questions Sir Alexander about the box. Sir Alexander says it's a fossil.
But they heard noise coming from it.
Dr.
So,
Wells says, but I heard a noise coming from it.
yeah.
Sir Alexander says that fossil is dead, is not eaten in 2 million years. Then the Countess arrives with her poodle, Karen.
Yeah, she has a poodle.
And she's apparently has to check a special piece of luggage or
Yes,
baggage.
into the safe. But yeah, she has a toy poodle who is not happy. The dog is reacting to something in the train car. He's very.
I wrote the dog goes crazy. That's what I wrote.
So, did you know that poodles were originally bred as working water retrievers, specifically to help hunters retrieve ducks and waterfowl? They originated in Germany over 400 years ago, and their name comes from the German word, maybe you'd know this, pudeln, which means to splash in the water. There are three. There's toy, miniature, and standard poodles. I think she has a toy. That's the smallest one, which are highly intelligent, energetic, and affectionate companion dogs. They stand under 10 inches tall and typically weigh between 4 and 8 pounds. You want to guess what number they are on the smartest dog breed list? I'm sure
Poodles
you'll.
in general or just toy poodles?
Well, they're all the same. They rank them as the same. There doesn't seem to be a difference.
No, I do not, Karen.
Well, they're very intelligent.
Of course they are.
So, toy poodles are tied for the number two smartest dog breed
Wow.
globally. According to Dr. Stanley Coren's renowned intelligence evaluation, all poodles share this ranking. They learn new commands in fewer than 5 repetitions and obey the first cue over 95% of the time. Does not say who they are tied with. We know border collies are number one, but it doesn't say on. I'm sure I could find it, but I didn't search that deeply. But they're very smart dogs.
Dog doesn't like what's in the crate. Then right here, oh, do we have a love connection between the Countess and Sir Alexander? But then the Countess brings up her husband. Wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Wah wah. She's married.
Sir Alexander offers to escort her back to her carriage, though. When I wrote, he's very smooth.
They
I like
banter.
Christopher Lee.
They do banter a bit. I don't know. She wants to know what's in the crate. And she says, normally my dog likes Englishmen. And then they go back and forth, and he generally
Oh, yes,
apologizes.
my husband, the Count.
Yeah. She's married, and he apologizes for King Henry's betrayal back in the day. So they're bantering, but he takes her back to the cabin. Or sorry, her train cabin.
Sir Alexander finds a chess piece on the floor as he's walking. He gives
Back.
it to the man in a cabin there, and we learn he is an engineer and scientist. And he has the chalk that the priest tried to write on the crate with. And he says, this is a perfectly normal piece of chalk. And
Why didn't it work?
Sir Alexander says, it was hypnotism, and slams the door.
And he's a charlatan, yeah. Which I think he thinks anyway, because he's a religious man. I don't think it is specific to that one moment.
Then we see Dr. Wells in the baggage car trying to bribe a man to drill a hole in the box to take a look at it.
He's pretty easy to convince.
Then a woman enters Dr. Wells' compartment and asks for help.
Oh, can you please help me? I don't have a ticket, but I have to leave Beijing. Please help me. Flutter, flutter, flutter of the eyelashes.
Sir Alexander enters and says, get out of my way. This is my bunk. And apparently they are in the same compartment. I wrote,
8.
the woman is in trouble and does not have a ticket. Woman is sure that they can all get along very well together.
And she just climbs into Dr. Wells's bed. They're bunk beds. And Saxton's taking the top bunk, which is hilarious because he's probably about a foot too long for it. And then she just
That's his
climbs into the other bed. I'm sure we can all get along.
So we see a baggage man unscrewing screws on the box, whistling a tune. He looks into one of the holes and sees the skull of whatever it is. Hand comes out from the box and grabs the padlock, tries to break it free. The hand finds a nail that it can use to pick the lock. Baggage man watches, question mark. Baggage man grabs the chain to try to prevent it from going into the box. Then we see a creature with glowing red eyes. Baggage man's eyes bleed. Now, like I said, the creature kind of looks like the Somewhere in Time Eddie, the cyborg Eddie, which is
Look at that.
here's a little red eye here. And the creature when we first see it only has one eye, so it's one.
So
red
that's
eye.
the only one that can, yeah.
Baggage man collapses with bad blood coming from his eyes, nose, and mouth. Creature opens the door.
Yeah, he's picked the lock. He gets out.
The dog whines or whimpers.
Oh, you know what I just realized? He knows how to pick the lock from the brain of the thief I didn't put that together till right now. Woo, someone slow today. Because I'm like, well, how does he know?
No, you don't know. You don't really get it at the beginning, but
I know, but
one of those
that's
things when you're driving home from the theater, I'm like, oh my God.
but I'm even have written wow, he's very agile and knows how to pick a lock. And now I'm just realizing, well, of course he does, because he has
Because you overthink it, Karen. I didn't really give a shit.
the knowledge
Just watching it.
from
I'm just
the
going
thief.
with it.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's
that makes total sense,
consistency.
Karen.
Yeah, he knows how to pick the lock, because that's what happened with the guy he killed on the platform.
Monk says there's the stink of hell on the train, Karen.
Yeah,
Even the dog knows it.
he's back in that's back in with the Count and Countess, right?
Yeah. Apparently he's their monk. He's their, I don't know,
Personal
personal religious person. Countess playing the piano, apparently.
spiritual advisor, I would say, not their personal religious person, but
Whatever. Apparently the monk works for the Count and Countess. They hear whistling. It's the same thing the Countess was playing, and it's the same thing the guy was whistling too, I think. She plays another tune, I think.
Yeah, they have a piano in
But
their
nothing comes of it
car.
because then we see someone in the baggage car finds the screws from the crate. Baggage man is missing. Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells arrive. The lock appears to still be locked. Dr. Wells says it was probably his fault. He asked the baggage man to drill a hole and take a peek. And then another guy comes in, must be an inspector of some sort. He demands the key from Sir Alexander to open the crate. One man is dead and another is missing. Sir Alexander pulls the key from his keyring and throws it out the window. Then they try to break the chains with an axe. And I was very surprised that they succeeded because it didn't look good, but they do succeed. Surprisingly, I wrote.
Pretty easily, actually.
They open the small door to find the dead baggage guy in there.
Yeah, he's in the crate. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, with his white eyes and blood coming from his eyes, nose, and mouth. Sir Alexander tells them that there was an ape that lived 2 million years ago that was in the box. It is just a fossil. Then he's beginning to think it must be alive. Inspector doesn't want to panic the passengers, but they search the train. The creature.
Yes.
Creature, it says preacher, and I said monk, but it's the creature. I probably did say preacher. The creature comes out of one of the closets of one of the cabins. 2 small children are in there sleeping.
But he leaves them. Yeah.
Police walking through the train car.
Yeah.
Creature watches them. Creature grabs one of them and stares at it with its red eye. Another officer comes running. Officer finds his dead associate, white and bloody eyes, nose, and mouth. And there's a door open to the outside of the train. So this must be a baggage or a car that's open to the outside. I don't know.
Yeah, but he leaves the kid alone. He reaches his mummy-like hand towards the child and then
What's that kid know that it don't know?
well, but again, that's what he's probably thinking. He doesn't need any of the knowledge the kid has.
So then we see Dr. Wells having dinner with the woman, who we learn is an international spy.
But not until later.
The scientist we saw
Wait,
earlier.
but she says, my glass is empty.
Yes, she does.
He says, oh, pardon my manners. I'm going to start using that. Excuse me, my glass is empty. Come
She
on.
didn't say it like that.
She did.
Not like that.
I think she did.
She said, my glass is empty. She didn't say, excuse me, my glass is empty.
Same thing. Same diff.
The scientist we saw earlier joins them for dinner.
The
He thinks
engineer. Yeah.
he thinks he recognizes the woman. He must be mistaken, though. Then they bring dinner, and it's a fish with a white eye.
And that freaks out Dr. Wells a little
then
bit.
The engineer says, well, naturally, it's boiled. How else would it be? Inspector comes to and asks Dr. Wells if it's true he is a doctor. He tells him about his soldier that has the same white eyes as the baggage man. Well, Dr. Wells says, well, I can't help him.
Right.
But
and he also says, I'd like to finish my dinner first. But no.
He does ask if the fossil is still at large. That's how he says, is the fossil still at large? Inspector says he thinks the fossil escaped.
Jumped from the train.
Dr. Wells asks Miss Jones, his assistant,
yeah, who we met earlier, but
to help him with an autopsy. And
at first he goes over he goes over to her and he says, I need your help. And she's like, yeah, I bet you do. She thought he meant with the woman.
Oh.
But he's like, no, with an autopsy. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, I bet you do.
Dr. Wells begins cutting on the body. And we see the Countess arrive at Sir Alexander's cabin wearing her blue dress, which she talked about earlier. She didn't know what dress to wear.
Just to wear.
Did she wear her red one or her blue one?
And the monk didn't care. But when they see the eyes of soldier or whoever, the Miss Jones is like, it must be a genetic defect. But
Yeah, she says that a couple times.
yeah.
Sir Alexander chose to dine alone. Then we see cut to Dr. Wells using a hacksaw to cut into the body's cranium.
Do we see
I
that
wonder if they're going from dinner to cutting into his cranium purposely to try to gross
Yeah.
out people. I don't
But
know.
do we see? Oh, yeah. So we just see that he's alone. Or does the woman go in?
Oh, she goes
She
in.
goes back to the cabin, and that's when she sees Dr. Paxton dining alone.
Yeah. Countess talks to Sir Alexander about losing his box of bones.
Well, she's not the countess, she's the spy.
No, it's the Countess
She wouldn't go to
wearing her
no,
blue dress.
she doesn't go back to no, it's the spy. Because
No, it's the Countess.
all
Because she
right. I
wanted to
guess
know
they look
whether she should wear her blue dress or her red dress. And she's wearing her blue dress. And
well, two women can have a blue dress, but besides, I'll believe you.
they were different women.
They
Yeah,
looked a
telling
lot
you.
alike to me.
I
Okay.
would I would not
She just
confuse the
walked in the
international spy with the Countess.
okay, but she just walked in the room. That's why
Yeah,
I
she
thought it was
did. She just walks in the room.
that's why I thought it was the
The,
other one.
the international spy is with Dr. Wells.
No, Dr. Wells is doing the autopsy. She's with
Well,
the engineer.
she was dining with Dr.
Yes,
Wells, and then the inspector came to get him
that's why I thought she
for the
left. It doesn't
autopsy.
matter. If I just I just thought the way the woman barged in the room, I thought it was the other one.
But apparently, the Countess wants to know what's so important about his fossil, and he says it could prove the theory of evolution.
Yes,
It hold the
determine man's
secret to
origin.
everything. Countess says that is immoral, and because she talks about her monk.
Yes,
Yes.
I guess. He says it's a fact. There's facts don't need morality.
Countess asks if the dead man was caused by the creature. He says probably. Whatever. He doesn't care about the others. They were just a baggage guy and a thief.
Yes,
Then he admits he does
he
not
should
care as much
care.
as he should have.
Yeah, he should care more.
So then we see Dr. Wells removing the man's cranium and pushes on the man's brain. It's smooth as a baby's bottom, Miss Jones says. Dr. Wells says the memory has been removed from the brain. That's what made it so smooth, Karen. All the wrinkles were gone.
All right. Well, that's not true, but
It's not.
in case you were interested, it's your brain is not smooth. So he is right about that. But the complex folds are formed by a process called differential growth during embryonic and fetal development. So, as the brain develops in the womb, the outer layer of the brain, the cerebral cortex or gray matter, grows and multiplies at a much faster rate than the inner layers, the white matter beneath it. Because this rapidly expanding outer sheet of tissue is confined to the fixed space of the skull, it has nowhere to go, so it begins to compress, buckle, and fold on itself to fit everything inside. The specific shape of the folds is also driven by billions of neurons migrating to the surface and the tension created by the interconnective nerve fibers pulling on the tissue as they grow.
Does that mean that a newborn's baby might be pretty brained?
No, this is all happening in the womb.
Hmm.
So
How the fuck do they know that shit, Karen?
the rolls act as a crumple zone that drastically increases the surface area of the brain. This allows humans and other highly evolved mammals to pack millions of extra neurons into smaller space, increasing our capacity for memory, problem solving, and conscious thought. So, in a way, he's kind of right, but memories are not just stored in one place. The brain processes and distributes them across a complex, interconnected network of specialized regions depending on the type of memory being formed. And there's a whole the hippocampus, the neocortex, the amygdala, the cerebellum, the basal ganglia, and the prefrontal cortex all have memory capabilities in some form or another. That's how you get what I called when I had a brain scan. I thought it looked like big puffed Cheetos. So it's not smooth.
They leave the room and the creature apparently crawls in from above the car.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
did
it
go
went
outside the
outside
train.
and yeah, and was on the top.
Pulls back the sheet of the body and opens up the cranium just to take a peek for some reason, Karen.
Make sure it got all those memories.
So then the international spy woman pretends to go to the restroom. Instead, she enters the baggage claim. Creature's in there sitting in the dark. Woman is trying to open a safe. Creature watches. She opens the safe and grabs the red bag belonging to the Countess. She turns and sees the creature. It chokes her and stares at her with its red eye. She begins bleeding from her eyes, nose, and mouth. Her eyes turn white. She gone. Dr. Wells leaves his quarters to check on the woman. He knocks on the restroom door, asks if she is all right. He enters and finds no one there. Creature grabs the red bag belonging to the Countess. Dr. Wells goes into the baggage train. Creature grabs his hand, but he is able to get free. Inspector shoots at the creature because he arrives just in the nick of time. Creature appears to have been hit, but his eye is glowing red. Inspector stares at the creature. He begins bleeding from his nose. Inspector fires another shot at the creature. It falls, as does the inspector. Dr. Wells checks the inspector for a pulse. Policemen come and take the inspector away. Sir Alexander arrives and sees the dead woman with the creature. Sir Alexander comes to check on the inspector in his quarters. We learn apparently the woman was an international spy. Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells perform an autopsy on the woman, and her brain was the same as the baggage guy. Completely smooth. Sir Alexander hypothesized that the creature absorbs other people's thoughts and brain. Sir Alexander says, sadly, they will never know how much knowledge it has because it died. Inspector brings in the red package of the Countess. He says it knows it belonged to the Countess because he saw her put it in the safe. Sir Alexander raises an eyebrow.
But the reason he really knows
And then
that
there's music, Karen. Dun, dun, dun.
is because he's killed the spy and gotten her memories. Because the spy knew it was the Countess's. And the inspector looks under the sheet and sees that his hand is deformed, which he looks like the mummy's or the creature's hand. It has that mummy look to it. So he hides his hand the rest of the time.
Inspector questions the Count and Countess about the contents of the red bag. Inspector says the creature's dead. He put 4 bullets into him. Monk says, you believe you can kill evil with bullets? He says the evil one is among us, and he prays. And then I wrote, sacred pictures begin to fall off the wall. Okay. Dr. Wells, Sir Alexander, and Miss Jones are removing the eyes from someone and taking fluid from it. And I wrote, it's not a white eye. I'm like, oh, it must be the creatures. I don't know. Sir Alexander looks at it in a microscope. He pulls fluid from the eye and puts it under the microscope, and he sees an image of the inspector. And right here wrote, oh, it must be the eye of the creature. The creature's visual memory is not in the brain, but in the eye itself, Karen.
Yes.
Oh, so then we see a creature hand checking on the cranium of the international spy woman.
Well, that's also where we see the pterodactyl and
Yeah, but we see it later.
oh.
And then we see a normal hand checking on the creature. Dr. Wells looks at another slide under the microscope. Images of dinosaurs, apparently, Karen. Apparently memories from the other eye, question mark. I didn't understand this.
I think it was the other eye.
So then we see Countess walking through the train. She feels like she's being followed. She walks in the dining car where apparently they're all looking at the eyeball juice. Right.
They do it. Yeah, they have a
And then they find a
microscope and everything.
They find a picture in the microscope of the Earth from outer space. So I'm not sure how they would know that's what it is. I guess, but who knows? Countess tells them people on the train are getting nervous. She asks Sir Alexander about his theories of evolution. Sir Alexander tells her to look in the microscope. She sees the image of the Earth. She tells the monk to come in and take a look. Monk says, it's the eye of Satan. Monk says something about the second day. I don't know. Is that when God created the earth on the second day or something?
That's what he says, yeah.
Right. Monk talks about Satan being banished from heaven. Sir Alexander says, rubbish. And they go into a tunnel. The train does, and everything goes dark. Then when everything is light again, the eye is missing, as well as the monk. And we see him walking through the train with it. They begin searching the train for the monk.
So they all go So they individually go to look for the monk. And I'm like, have they learned nothing from Scooby-Doo? You always go in pairs. You never go on your own. I will say, and I didn't mention this, of things that I didn't like about this film. And I don't know if it was the copy I was watching or my computer, but there are a lot of very dark scenes where I could not see what was going on. And so I
I
don't
didn't think it was
know.
terrible.
It reminded me of the Sinbad movies at the drive-in we used to go to as kids. Again, it could be what I was watching. It might have just been the copy that I was watching, but there's a lot of times where I was like, what's happening? What's happening? But yeah, they're individually going to look for the monk now.
They begin searching the train for the monk. Miss Jones searches the baggage car. She looks in the box. The monk is hiding, watching her. Miss Jones looks at the bodies. Then Inspector grabs her. He wants to know what all the fuss is about. Miss Jones says there is 1,000 rubles reward for finding the eye. She talks about the pictures of the Earth from outer space inside the eye. Inspector wants to know who else has seen the pictures. Who else knows about these pictures?
She just rattles it off.
Inspector pulls his left hand from his pocket and it looks just like the creature's. Inspector stares at Miss Jones, his eyes glowing red. Miss Jones' eyes turn white. She bleeds from her eyes, nose, and mouth. She gone. Monk comes out from hiding and gives the eye to the inspector and asks for pity, Karen. Monk says, "Are you going to kill me?" Inspector says, "There's nothing in your head."
Of any use. Yeah, that was funny.
Inspector, talking to the people on the train, tells them he will shoot anyone who tries to stop the train. He has learned about someone sending a telegram to try to stop it at the next station. He looks around the room and stares at the people who have seen pictures of from the eye.
Yes, he's got a hit list now.
Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells talk about the creature and if it is dead or not. Sir Alexander tells the inspector that he has asked the conductor to wire ahead to stop the train at the next station. Inspector stops the conductor from sending his message and gives him the red eyes. Inspector begins to throw the body out a window. Monk comes in and asks him who he is. He tells him he will serve him.
Yeah, it didn't take him much to turn, did it?
No. Countess, Dr. Wells, Sir Alexander sitting at a table, hypothesizing about the creature and why the eyes turned white. Sir Alexander begins inspecting the eyes of everyone on board, including the inspector.
Yeah, so they think it could be contagious. It could be contagious, and they're thinking, well, what would somebody have? What symptoms would they have? And they think, well, maybe it would be to do with the eyes. So they start looking at everybody's eyeballs, and everybody has normal eyes.
Yeah, Sir Alexander examines the inspector's eyes last. And then I wrote, the scientist slash engineer suggests using some kind of x-rays or bullshit. I don't
Yeah.
know. Sir Alexander suggests that everyone on the train stay with someone else. He wants to institute a buddy system.
Yes, which they should always have.
Sir Alexander enters the conductor's quarters and finds the crumpled up note that the conductor was sending and the open window. Then we cut to the next station, question mark I wrote, reading a telegraph. Train will arrive in 14 minutes. Captain Kazan is there, sleeping with a woman. Captain
Yeah.
Kazan tells all the men to get ready for the train to arrive. He questions the telegraph reader if he believes in the devil. And he knows the devil must be afraid of one honest Cossack. So I'm not sure how he knows what's going on.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
weird.
Back on the train, Inspector comes in and questions the engineer about the Earth's gravity. Inspector wants to know if there's a way to escape gravity. Engineer tells him, yeah, there's a scientist investigating rockets. Inspector wants to know if he knows him. Engineer says, yeah, he was like a father to me.
Yeah, he was one of my professors, I think he says, right?
Inspector turns off the light with its furry hand.
Because he needs that knowledge
I
now.
wrote,
So
I don't think the engineer is going to make it.
no, he wants that rocket knowledge.
Inspector goes to see Sir Alexander. He wants to know what Sir Alexander thinks was going on. He says millions of years ago, some form of intelligence came to Earth from another planet. It learned to survive by entering into the body and brain of Earth's creatures. Creature survived as a fossil and then came to life again. Once the host dies, the alien entity must transform to another host.
Yeah, how does he
The
know all this
inspector
stuff?
says, well, you're a very good detective. You have figured out everything except who is the host. Dr. Wells arrives and inspector says, what if you are one, or what if one of you are the monster? Dr. Wells says, monster? We're British, you know. Oh my God. They find the body of the engineer. The woman who is apparently an American playing chess with him says when she woke up, the lights were out and she found the body.
Yeah, so when she fell asleep, the lights were on, and then when she woke up, they were off. She had to turn them on, and then she saw the body of the engineer.
Monk sees the inspector in the hall and calls him master. Inspector walks to the Count and Countess's car. He goes in. He has a piece of steel and asks him about it. I guess it's from the red bag or whatever. Inspector wants to know how much heat the piece of steel can withstand. Just then, the train arrives at the next station and stops.
But for some reason, the steel gets stronger when heat is applied. So he's thinking he needs that for his rocket.
Russian military enter. Count and Countess confront Captain Kazan. He orders the Russian military to escort the Count and Countess to their car as they are exempt.
Yes, they're higher class.
He calls the others peasants. And an American woman, the one we saw earlier, points out the inspector and says he is responsible. Captain Kazan says everyone is under arrest, including you. He wants to know who the troublemakers are. He tells the American woman not to worry. He will smoke them out. Dr. Wells and Sir Alexander question Captain Kazan about what he's doing. Captain Kazan has his men rough handle Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells. Kazan questions the inspector. He has a good Russian name.
Yeah, so he accepts him.
He asks the inspector to point out the suspects and he will get to the truth. Inspector says he is mistaken. Monk gets upset and calls Kazan a fool. Military men confront the monk and he threatens to put a curse on them, pulls his cross. He warns them to beware the wrath of Satan. Kazan kisses the cross and takes it from him. He tells the monk to get on his knees and he hits him with a cat of nine tails. Whips him a few times. Kazan asks the inspector why the monk was trying to protect him. He asks him once again who he is. Sir Alexander turns down the lights in the car and the inspector's eyes begin glowing red. He tries to get away, but Kazan puts a knife in his back and then shoots him several times. Monk tells Kazan that you saw his eyes. One look at them and you are dead. Monk goes to see the inspector and he asks Satan to take him.
I'll be your vessel.
Kazan tells his men to kill anything that comes through the door. Inspector stares at the monk. It gets trippy. I wrote. Inspector collapses. Monk has red eyes. Monk cuts the electrical lines to the train cars. Soldiers start firing into the darkness. Monk enters and stares at them one by one with his red eyes.
He's taking them all out.
Soldiers all collapse with bloody white eyes. Passengers panic and run away, running over each other. All the passengers run to the baggage car, because of course it's the end of the train. Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells light a lantern. Light always.
Yes, because he can't do the transfer and it sort of implies he needs to do it in the dark, but he's done it not in the dark before, so I don't know what that was, but.
And then I wrote, Kazan gets a good long death scene, played by Telly Savalas. Tries to get up and fight, but he gone. Sir Alexander and Dr. Wells make their way into the baggage car with the light, or into the car with the light and see all the dead soldiers. Sir Alexander tells Dr. Wells to go join the others. Sir Alexander says, he will be all right. I will be all right. Don't worry about me. Monk goes to the Count and Countess's car. He confronts them about the way he's been treated. Monk turns down the lights and stares at the Count with his red eyes. Count gone.
Well, he says he liked the Count, but he loved the Countess more than he loved heaven.
Yeah, he does say that
Am I
next.
ahead of you? Sorry.
Countess confronts the monk. Monk tells her that the monk, he in the third person or
Yeah,
whatever,
because the monk doesn't
loved
exist
her
anymore.
more than the promise of heaven. Sir Alexander comes in with his shotgun and his light. Sir Alexander questions the monk about who he is, and he says he's not sure how to say it in their language. He is just a form of energy. He comes from another galaxy. He came with others like him, but he was left behind. It was an accident. It was all an accident. They
Just by
didn't mean to
accident.
leave me behind.
Yeah. But he goes through the thing. I survived in protozoans, so implying he came a long time ago.
Yeah.
Fish and then vertebrates.
And he says the planet is a part of him.
Yeah.
He wants to be let go.
I can teach you to end disease and pain.
Yeah, he teaches them to ease disease and hunger. Monk begins getting all trippy again because he says, and there's something else. Then he begins
Yes.
getting all trippy, and the dead begin to rise, Karen.
He's infecting everyone.
Count rises with his gun and tries to shoot Sir Alexander. Countess warns him. They run through the train. The dead try to stop them. Sir Alexander takes care of the dead as they go, meaning he kills them,
Kills them.
does
Yeah.
whatever. The dead follow Sir Alexander and the Countess through the train. Sir Alexander and the Countess arrive at the baggage car just as Dr. Wells is trying to unhinge it, or untie it, I guess, from the train. Cut to the next station. The men get a telegram from Moscow, or telegraph, I guess, telegraph from Moscow saying to stop the train at the next switching point. The men say, well, that means killing everyone on board. And another one says, well, maybe it's a war in their English accents. They switch the train tracks and the train goes over a cliff just as they free the baggage car from the train. I guess, question mark. And I wrote, oh, yes, there it is. The baggage car comes to a stop at the edge of the cliff. They all look over as the train explodes.
Okay. Yep.
Then we have a shot of the Earth from outer space.
So it's possible. I mean, the train explodes, so he's burned to a crisp, but could he go into a mouse? Could he go into like there's ultimate sequel potential here.
Fin
Yes.
credits. All right, Karen, what did you think of your beautiful friendship cocktail?
I like it. I like the cinnamon and the orange. I can really taste
I
them.
think after having a few of these, I could start a few beautiful friendships.
Yeah, it would speed up the process.
Mhm. Get the conversation going.
Yeah, a lot less discerning of who might be a beautiful friend. It's good. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy cocktail necessarily. It's not difficult, but there's a little bit of involvement there. But I think it's delicious, really. I'd call this a year-rounder.
It's a fruity,
But it's got that
it's a
cinnamon,
minty.
so it's
Yes,
got a
it's
little
got fall,
fall. It's got,
spring. It's got all the
yeah,
stuff. You're right.
it's a year-round drink. And you
All
could
right.
play up, put a little more mint in the summer, a little more cinnamon in the fall,
Mine evaporated.
as they do.
Anything we learned today?
We
Anything
learned
at all?
about the Trans-Siberian Railway, toy poodles, and memory and brain coils. And you had an Iron Maiden throw in
Oh
there.
yeah, I did, didn't I? Look at me. I wonder if I can work him in every episode, Karen.
Could be a challenge.
I am wearing a shirt every episode.
Well, then you should. You get on that, Greg. Maybe you should see if our listeners can find it. Like Alfred Hitchcock's in all his movies. Where's the Iron Maiden reference? Can make some of them subtle. Maybe just throw a lyric in here or there. Just say it.
That sounds like a lot of work, Karen.
Okay, then don't.
All right. Anyone you need to thank this week?
Well, we're always going to thank our listener. There's a lot of podcasts out there. We really do appreciate you spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
Karen, I'm going to thank those people from the state up north
That
again.
doesn't narrow it down.
Well, it does for us.
Oh, oh, the one we
Michigan.
can't say. Yeah, Michigan.
Michigan.
I can say it.
Michigan. I can
Michigan,
say it.
Michigan, Michigan.
I can too. I got family.
I'm a
there. Don't
Bearcat.
bother me a bit.
I'm a Bearcat. Doesn't bother me.
I ain't scared. Michigan. And the band Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
The music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Good night, Tanya. Good night, John. Sleep well.
Yeah,
And please,
John.
everyone, drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You know, we really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.